In the 1950s, the connection between Vancouver and North Vancouver was becoming increasingly important and increasingly crowded. Projections showed that in the next few years, traffic crossing the 𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐃 Bridge and the Second Narrows Bridge were likely to become extremely congested, bringing transportation routes to a standstill. After considering various options, the provincial government decided to construct a new bridge at Second Narrows, located just west of the old Second Narrows Bridge. Unfortunately, the construction of this bridge led to the worst industrial accident in Vancouver's history.
Spans 4 and 5 of Vancouver's Second Narrows Bridge plunged into the waters of Burrard Inlet this afternoon with a tremendous hiss and a terrible loss of life.
The first bridge across the Second Narrows of Burrard Inlet was completed in 1925. It provided access across the Burrard Inlet for cars and trains, with a section that raised and lowered to allow ships to pass. This first bridge was problematic and ended up being hit numerous times by ships. First by the freighter Urana in 1927, by the Norwich City in 1928, and by the 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐃 in 1930. And then, as a final straw, in September 1930, the Pacific Gatherer got wedged under the bridge and ripped away its center span. The new bridge, designed by Swan Wooster Engineering Company, would be a deck-type cantilever with the roadway supported by steel. The Dominion Bridge Company, which had constructed many of Vancouver's earliest landmarks, including the Hotel Vancouver, the Pattullo Bridge, and the 𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐃 Bridge, was contracted to complete the job using steel imported from England. Construction of this 4,200-foot-long, 6-lane bridge began in November 1957. The new Second Narrows Bridge was to be the last piece of the Trans-Canada Highway linking the whole country together. By mid-1958, construction of the bridge was well underway, but just as things seemed to be going according to plan, tragedy struck, stunning an unsuspecting province. At 3:40 p.m. on June 17, 1958, a crane was stretching from the north side of the bridge to join two chords of an unfinished arch. Ironworkers working 40 meters above the inlet heard a horrific noise and watched terrified as span 5 of the new bridge began to collapse. Back then, there were no safety nets or ropes, and workers carried heavy tools walking on steel beams a foot wide, 200 feet in the air. One worker commented, "We heard a big bang, sharp like a gunshot." Workers were thrown into the tumultuous waters below, some of them dragged to the depths, still attached to the steel beams on which they were working. The momentum of the dislocated columns caused span 4 to crash into the inlet as well, in a mass of tangled steel. Reporter Ed Cosgrove recalled the scene. The guys were struggling to get out of the water, but most of them couldn't move. They were pinned or injured too badly. They were yelling, screaming. It was gory as hell. 18 of the 79 workers that fell were killed, including 14 ironworkers, 3 engineers, and a painter. 20 other ironworkers were seriously injured. Rescue efforts commenced but soon turned to a recovery. Then, just days later, the river claimed another victim when a commercial diver drowned trying to recover a body, bringing the total death toll from the incident to 19 souls. The Royal Commission inquiry that followed found that the bridge collapse could be attributed to miscalculations by bridge engineers. A temporary arm holding the 5th anchor span was deemed too light to bear the required weight. The design for this temporary arm had been done by engineer John McKibben. However, lax engineering practices meant that a review by the engineer in charge, Murray MacDonald, had not taken place. Both MacDonald and McKibben lost their lives in the collapse. The inquiry also found that the steel quality wasn't up to the expected standard, further contributing to the weakness. Despite the incident and the tragic loss of life, construction of the second Narrows continued. With an official opening on August 25, 1960. To celebrate the opening, local high school bands marched across the bridge. In 1994, the bridge was renamed to the Ironworkers Memorial Second Narrows Crossing to honor the 18 workers who died in the collapse, along with the one rescue diver and 4 other workers who died during the construction process. Historical plaques noting the memorial are located at the bridge site. The tragedy has found a place in Canadian history and is part of the collective Canadian memory. Canadian musician Stompin' Tom Connors paid tribute to the fallen ironworkers with his song "The Bridge Came Tumblin' Down," which debuted on his 1972 album My Stompin' Grounds. Jimmy Dean's 1962 song "Steelmen" is also a ballad about the Second Narrows Bridge disaster. Over 120,000 people drive over the Ironworkers Memorial Second Narrows Crossing each and every day. But as time passes, it's unknown how many of them take the time to recall this tragic event.